Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 7, Episode 44, DJI Air 3S sent back to DJI. Got a lot to talk about with that, but we got a full house. I saw you guys jumping in here already. Wow, this is awesome. Let's see who all we got. All right, Recovery 1 Drone, welcome. Good to see you. Akarasho, CT Pirate, 107 Drones, Barkley's here. See who else. Mark is here. Welcome, Mark. Good to see you. John Flynn. Welcome, John. Waypoint New England. Drone Shots. Dr. Ted is here. Akarasho. Lauren is here. Welcome, Lauren. Drone Views Media. Welcome. Let's see. Casey Crime Fighter. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Richard is here. Welcome, Richard. Let's see who else we got. Michael Wright is here. Wow, we got a full. Well, like I said, we got a full house here tonight. You guys are rocking. John is here. Captain Ray, welcome. Good to see you tonight. All right. Got a good crew here. Good crew here. On a side note, for us, we are super excited because last weekend I was on a phone call with my son-in-law and found out they will be coming down in December, not only to see us, but for Christmas week. They will be here for Christmas, okay? Our granddaughters will be in our house on Christmas Day, okay? I'm sorry. Really doesn't get a whole lot better than that for us, all right? Because we were planning, you guys know the drill with us, usually first week of December, we head up to Ohio to see them. Well, my son-in-law says, we're planning on coming down. I'm like, okay. And then they said, when? And I'm like, okay, that's perfect because the day before, we're going down to near Fort Lauderdale. We're going to see, we're going to see our first of like 11 Panthers games this year. And then we're driving back that day. And then we're going to go meet them at the airport. We're going to have car seats for them. They're going to rent a minivan. And then we'll drive over and we're just going to have a blast. And I talked to our older granddaughter and she is all pumped up about seeing that, about making cookies with grandma. Okay. Yeah. Seriously, and blowing bubbles in the sink with grandma. And our younger granddaughter too, she's starting to talk. I heard her talk really fluently on the phone for the first time, so that was a treat too. So got all that to look forward to. All right, I can't tell you. I'm going to save it for later, but what a wow. And I'm going to go through my whole experience. Ron and Marcus will be here in a little bit, but wow, what an experience I've had. This has just been, wow. All right. Okay. All right. I do have a few things that we're going to talk about before we get to that tonight. Some things of note here. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is we were actually looking at this. Valerie's asking me even about this for her mom. Now, her mom is in her 80s, and she has like a uninterruptible power supply, and they got that from my father-in-law's chair. Well, they don't have a need for that now, so she uses that to like charge things up whenever the power goes out. And she was one of the last ones to get power during the restoration. It took well over a week for her to get power. She spent most of the time at Valerie's sister's. So we were actually considering getting this. The deal is just absolutely insane. On Amazon, you said $250 off. I mean, it's crazy good. And for what it does, it's absolutely fantastic. Now, I actually did a review on my ham radio channel. It's coming out, and on the technology channel. It has a LiFePO battery in it. It's got lithium polymer. Okay. It's different chemistry than the batteries that we use. But it is very solid. It's rated very high. And if you want a good source for, not only charging your drones, but like say for us, I'm even considering getting it, even though we have a whole home, generator. So that's something you may want to bookmark. I mean, it's a super fantastic deal. $250 off. I don't know when that's run through. It doesn't say. It also has the option to charge it solar powered. So definitely, if that's something that interests you, that's a fantastic deal. I know it's gotten good ratings. I know it's gotten good reviews. I would go out there and grab $250 off. Okay, that's pretty awesome. All right, and even just to use it to charge your DJI batteries up. I mean, especially out in the field, if you fly all day, kind of a thing. It's just a godsend. It's just fantastic. And what a lot of people do with things like that is during a power outage, you can power a few small things with something like that. You can buy a couple of them and, use them, maybe power a small refrigerator or some other things, but you'd have to check the loads and things. But more often than not, you could plug some lamps into it, have some light, charge your phones up, that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely check into that. That's a really, really good deal here. So, now, some more on the Chinese kind of stuff, okay? Yeah, more. All right, this more, the whole lawsuit kind of a thing here. Now, China accuses U.S. of stifling competition amid DJI lawsuit. As drone DJ readers know, Chinese drone maker DJI is challenging the Pentagon's decision to classify it as a military company included on a blacklist. Okay, a new Global Times editorial criticizes the Pentagon's actions. Now, that's Global Times is from China, as part of a broader U.S. effort to suppress Chinese enterprises under the guise of national security. The editorial argues that the DoD's refusal to engage in dialogue with DJI or provide substantive evidence for military company label highlights a pattern of arbitrary decision making. The pattern, it claims, has previously targeted other Chinese companies such as Xiaomi and Heisai Technology, now extends to DJI. And its article is in Bill the Drone Reviewer, so I want to, you guys can go ahead and read it at length. But it's very interesting that they are coming out, and and that's what a lot of us are saying here too, guys. It just, boy, you guys are rocking in the chat tonight. Holy cow! Absolutely, absolutely. There you go. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, they are battery specific. Thank you for putting that up there. I appreciate that. That's a really good, really good point here. So, because you got to be careful. You got to get the right, and some of the batteries that I have for ham radio charging, okay, they require specific chargers and specific cables as well too, to be able to handle loads. But thank you for pointing that out. That is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Okay. All right. But with this, go out there and check that article out. Okay. I would definitely, it's a very interesting reading, considering this is what we have been saying for quite some time. They haven't provided us proof, for why they want to ban DJI drones, and they're not providing proof here as well. And as I mentioned last week, in their lawsuit, they are being represented by former Attorney General from the United States, Loretta Lynch, who was Attorney General in the Obama administration. So, very interesting turn of events. She's now going against her former employer. So, stay tuned for all that. I got to think, DJI has some clout, and I got to think some things are we're going to see some things happen here. I really believe that. So stay tuned. But I don't think we're going to see anything coming up with, what's coming up 9 days from now, or, or so with the election. And probably it's a week, I think. Even though it's next week. Yeah, it's next week. So, yeah, hold on to your hats here, boys and girls. So, all right. What else did I have up here? Okay, yeah. All right. This just broke, okay? And this is I think fantastic news that actually hit the FCC database here. DJI Goggles N3, budget-friendly FPV gear for Neo Avata 2 drones, okay? The much-anticipated DJI Goggles N3 has just made an appearance on the U.S. FCC database, confirming its existence and stirring excitement among FPV enthusiasts. Leaks from various sources suggest this new headset could be a game changer, providing a more budget-friendly entry into the FPV world without sacrificing core features. The Goggles N3 is rumored to be a single-screen design, often called box goggles, with individual viewing ports for each eye, combining elements from the entire earlier DJI FPV goggles V1, V2, and the new Goggles 3. The design makes them larger like the V1, V2 models, but aims to offer a more comfortable fit for long flight sessions. Early leaks hint at a price tag of roughly $290, making them an affordable option for those new to the FPV hobby. Goggles 3 are available to buy for $499, while the more portable Google, they probably are screwing up their spelling here, can be scoped out for $349. All right. DJI O4 Air unit. Alongside the Goggles N3, expected to introduce the O4 Air unit, featuring mounting options to align with other popular FPV systems. You can read that here. Goggles N3 expanding compatibility for more FPV options. DJI Neo Motion Combo, which includes the Goggles N3, a Neo FPV drone, and a motion controller. Okay. Now, I've also heard with this as well too that it won't have the adjustable, and I'm not all hype on the goggles. You fit them up if you wear glasses, okay, it's going to go straight over your glasses, and there's no adjusting the viewfinder to fit your prescription. So so there we go. Okay, so that's interesting. That's very interesting, and that's going to be coming out real soon. So be on the lookout for that. I imagine, if I were to guess on something like this, I think we would see something like this around maybe the Christmas time frame. It would actually be absolutely perfect for those that have got the Neo or giving the Neo as a gift, especially with a motion controller, because it really breaks an incredible price barrier. The Avata 2 is fantastic, but I mean, you're spending some good coin with that. But if you get the Neo, the motion controller, and the new goggles here, that's going to be at a very reasonable price. So stay tuned for that. I think that's coming before Christmas. I think we'll see it maybe Black Friday, kind of a thing. I'm not sure, but I think that's definitely going to come out, because I think it'll make a good stocking stuffer for a lot of people who really want to get into FPV in a good way. And I think the Neo is a fantastic way of doing that. It's a very durable drone. I think a lot of people would enjoy that. So stay tuned for that. That's going to provide a lot of information. And I thought I had another article up here, and I'm trying to find. Yes, I do have another article up here. I was going to talk to you guys about it. Okay. I know we had briefly mentioned it. I think it was last week, or maybe oh, thank you, Captain Ray. I appreciate that. Hey, Ron.
Hey, Bill. How are you tonight?
Good. Celebrating an ugly win from the Steelers last night.
I was going to say, what about those 6-2 Pittsburgh Steelers on the way to the playoffs?
Well, as I told somebody, it looked good on the scoreboard, but it was ugly on the field.
Of course, I was on Tundra Nation. I missed a good deal, but I did come down at the end of the game, and they did get fortunate that the Giants quarterback fumbled on one possession. Next possession, he threw an interception.
Well, there was a sequence here, and I'll digress for a second. Pardon me, everybody, okay? Wilson fumbled, okay, and put the Giants in a golden opportunity to tie the game up. And 2 plays later, TJ Watt hits the ball out of Jones's hand, and they recover the ball.
Hey, did you see the replay on that? So the Giants, they don't give the tackle any help. They got one man, the running back's in the backfield, but instead of helping double team the tackle, he runs out for a pass. Of course, it's never going to happen because the quarterback's sacked. So yeah, you're right. The Giants, there's a lot of mismanagement on the Giants' part at the end of that game.
Yeah, there was, and well, there was that. And I'll digress for another second. Pickens, everybody is saying, he got 1 foot in bounds, but the other foot was up in the air and never landed in bounds. Well, technically, it's still not a touchdown. I had Steeler fans arguing with me today, and I'm like, look, the rule book is the rule book. All right, you got to get both feet in bounds. That's what.
So they rolled in their favor, though, huh?
Yeah, it was not. It was ruled. It was ruled no catch.
Oh, okay.
And they had to kick a field goal. So, but
anyway, who's up next weekend for the Steelers?
They have a bye week. And then they have to play. It starts the 6 of the next games of the next series, 6 of the next 8 games are against division opponents, all against AFC Central. So that's going to
Now,
be.
are they in the same division with the Ravens?
Yeah.
Well, the Ravens traded for your old receiver, DeAndre Johnson, today.
Yeah, they're Steelers have bye week, and then they have the Ravens at home. So that's going to be real interesting here.
Okay, back to drones, people. I'm done
Back
with
to
football.
drones here. Okay. And this is before we start talking about my wonderful dealings here. Okay. FCC filing hints at DJI's entry into 360-degree camera space. Okay. And Osmo 360, it really, you're getting some information here, but not a lot. Osmo 360 expected to come equipped with dual lens capabilities, allowing users to capture immersive spherical footage. Given DJI a track record of stabilization technology, the camera is likely to feature enhanced electronic stabilization, which could set it apart from its competitors. This focuses on stabilization would align with DJI's recent offerings, the Osmo Action 5 Pro and its drone lineup, both of which emphasize smooth, jitter-free footage here. Okay. And
Bill, I'm going to stop you just a second. I don't know who wrote this, but obviously they don't know what they're talking about. The Insta360 X4, the current flagship 360 camera, has some of the best image stabilization you've ever seen.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. I think they were. I think they probably weren't as knowledgeable. That is exactly what I was going to say.
And let me ask you this quick question. I know you're not. I mean, I won't say I'm in the 360. I have a 360 camera, but is there enough market share in the 360 category for like a couple companies to be successful? I know GoPro tried a 360 camera, but they haven't updated in 4 years. I don't think there's a lot of interest out there in 360 cameras.
Well, I'm surprised because now I'll say this. I do dabble in some radio control type of things, and I did see there's a lot of interest in like mounting Insta360s on radio control planes.
Okay.
It provides an incredible view whether you mount it on the top of the plane or on the bottom of the plane. So there is a lot of interest with hobbyists with something like this. So.
Well, but I'll tell you, the 360, cameras and technology, it's all good. It's all great until you got to start editing it.
Yeah.
And that's where it falls apart. You'll just waste a lot of time editing it where you realize, well, I wish I had just shot with an action camera video so I could upload it. Yeah. So if you get in a 360, be prepared to spend a lot of time, either in your phone or from a computer getting it edited.
Well, there's one more article we're going to go over, and before I start.
Did you talk about the goggles already?
You already talked about the goggles.
Yeah.
Got
that's the one that seems like it's coming next.
Yeah, I think that's coming down the line here. Now, this article on Drone DJ, DJI Air 3S versus Air 3, is it worth the upgrade? And they talk here, enhanced nightscape mode, upgraded internal storage, higher resolution cameras, and improved slow motion capabilities. Is the upgrade worth it? For existing Air 3 users, decision to upgrade may hinge on the need for better low light performance and extra storage space. However, if you're new to DJI Air series and seeking a drone with top-tier travel photography capabilities, the Air 3S offers a comprehensive package that's difficult to ignore. So,
that's an easy one, Bill. If you have the Air 3 already, it's probably not a must-have upgrade. Well, it's an incremental upgrade if you own the Air 3. You're coming from an older drone, then it's a no-brainer. Just go right to the Air 3.
Right. If you're coming like from an Air 2S, yeah.
Or a mini something, just go right to the Air 3S. But if you have the Air 3, I mean, unless you absolutely need one of the new features, you might as well just wait for the Air 4 at this point.
I agree. We're going to go ahead and dive into this because I do have a lot that I want to cover tonight with this. Okay. Now, I will tell you this, and this is kind of like there's a lot to get here. Okay.
And you posted a video, I guess, yesterday or early today. It was your unboxing of first flight.
Right. It was the unboxing of the first flight. Morning. Now, what I did between the unboxing and the first flight, I did an IMU calibration. I did a gimbal calibration. I did a compass calibration, and I did a controller calibration. Okay. I covered all my bases there. All right. I double dotted and did all firmware updates, got all that taken care of. Everything was good to go. Batteries were charged, whole 9 yards. Okay. I want to get that disclaimer out there right away. Now, I was out there for 3 flights on Sunday. Okay. So I went through 3 batteries. I mean, I put it through its paces, and I'm going to say this. All right. From what I saw, things looked okay to me. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is, and I'm going to show a video clip here. All right. Was I did a return to home test. All right. Now, our good friend Johnny. Hey, Marcus. Our good friend Johnny did a return to home test in his garage. All right. I said, you know what? I parked my car out and parked my truck out in the cul-de-sac. My wife's car was there, and I had a storage shelf, and I kept it there on purpose. Put the landing pad down there. All right. This is where I took off from. Now, what we're going to watch is a screen recording coming home because it shows a lot here. So I want to get this up here. And there we go.
Your map? Are you flying in Africa, Bill?
Yeah, I guess I am flying in Africa.
You're 800 and some feet away, so you don't have too far to go. You're moving about 25 miles per hour.
Now, here's where it starts to get interesting here.
Okay.
Now, notice where the H is. Now, it's going to show on the roof of my garage here. All right.
Uh-huh.
Now it's starting. It's adjusting the gimbal automatically. I didn't do any of this.
Right.
Now, it got to a point that complex environment ahead, continuously monitor environment during return to home.
Hit that button.
And it went a little too far there.
I saw the drone shadow was right in the driveway.
And I'm just going to let this run through here.
Yeah, let it roll
this time.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. They did a great job with this.
Well,
then you got to hit that R or C2 button. Yeah.
And I did. And then it was too close to the roof. So I backed off, and I just ended up landing it manually.
Bill, can I tell you my story?
Yeah.
I went out to my favorite Kleiner Park, and I went to one of I think it's the biggest picnic shelter out there. I flew the drone all 4 directions out from underneath that picnic shelter, and it found its way back every time. And like that roof that you were talking about, trust me, it would have backed off and it would have found its way in.
Yeah, I didn't, and this harkens back to me. If you've ever watched my very first Mavic 2 Pro video, it was going to land on the roof. Okay. So I had shades of that. So I just went in there and I ended up taking care of this myself here. Okay. So that's a battle for another day. And I kind of thought that, but I'm like, okay, all right, I can live with this. All right.
It'll fly. It'll just drop itself right down on that landing pad. It's the darndest thing you've ever seen.
Well, and then, the big thing was with, the other thing was when I came back, one of the other issues that I've actually found was I was using the DJI, the 65-watt charger, DJI, okay, which is, and I know Richard kind of mentioned in an email to us, the 100-watt charger is not really the right one, and I did some reading on that, and I think he's correct. So I hooked this up to it. The last battery, I think it was defective because it took 4 hours to charge the last battery. That wasn't
on
right.
the new Air 3S.
On the new Air 3S, it took 4 hours, which
I had no issues charging and my battery's up.
Yeah,
and Bill, like the charger that we recommended on the Rotor Nation, that accurate one, it's a PD charger. So if Marcus, if I understand it correctly, the PD charger figures out what the device needs. So if that device only needs 65 watts, the PD charger is only going to give it 65 watts.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you use a 100-watt PD on a 65-watt drone battery, because they're going to talk to each other and it's going to figure that out.
And let me back up a little bit. So as I recall, when the Air 3 first came out, one of the things they touted on it was using a 100-watt charger, and that was the fastest way. It said you use from a 65 to 100 watt. You could use either one, but they touted that at the time as the fastest way to get your batteries charged. So why would they go backwards with the Air 3S? I
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why, that's kind of a mystery to me. And what I ended up doing, because it had been sitting out there for so long, I ended up hooking up the 100-watt to it, and within 20 minutes it finished up. I mean,
remember a lot of guys got the Air 3 and they tried to charge it with, like, say 25-watt chargers, and people were charging for hours. Some people were charging for days.
Yeah. So
Marky makes a good point there too. The cable is as important as the charger.
Yeah, he's right. He's absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this segment of this video, you can see it, and I've seen it here before. This is my trip back from the entrance here back to the clubhouse, and you can see, if you look for it, you can see the stuttering. I got to get the.
Man, this is a pretty hoity-toity neighborhood. What do you think, Ron? I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this entrance. Holy cow.
Gated community.
Man.
You need a wristband to get through there, Bill?
Now you can see some of the stuttering on this here. You see it jump?
And that is, you use the onboard memory, Bill, or an SD?
Yes, I use the onboard memory.
I've definitely never seen that on my Air 3S.
Nor have I. Yeah.
And this confirmed it to me. I had, Richard had watched it, and he said he sent his back. All right.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay. And then I had another comment, not about 20 minutes later, that said, Bill, I'm seeing video stuttering. And he told me what the time mark, the one we just saw. And I was like, sure enough, I said, doggone it, you're right. I mean, that is definitely stuttering. And he also talked about, and what's that word began with an M?
Moray.
Okay. That too. And this was I didn't do anything as far as the gain or the expo or anything on this. I didn't touch anything as far as that was concerned. So I was going to say, I tried a speed test with it. Okay. In the second video, which I'm not going to produce, but I only got it up to 50 miles an hour. All right. And I did touch the gain and expo setting. I cranked it all the way up. I only got it to like 50.9.
No, I don't want to interrupt you, but could you highlight Bill Grace's comment?
Right.
Is his 2 comments back? It's germane to what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
He received a defective Air 3S, and when returning it, was told they would not send a return label due to the supply chain backup. That was 3 days ago. He received the return label today. So you got a little pushback from DJI support too, didn't you?
Yeah, and this is another part of this story that I want to share with you. And Bill, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Okay, what happened with me? Well, first of all, I was able to get on chat with DJI yesterday. All right, okay. And I was on with them for about an hour yesterday. Directed me to where I could file to go ahead and get a replacement drone. Now that message came up that Bill was talking about. It said, due to supply chain issues, you may not be able to get a label immediately. All right. So it ended up by this morning. No, it was by that was yesterday morning that I did this. by the afternoon yesterday, I got my label. So it was just a matter of a few hours to do that. All right. And I filled out all the paperwork. It was fairly straightforward. It gives you a drop down for options for what was wrong. And I said video, not in sync or whatever kind of a thing. Now, it didn't give me room, and I wanted to be able to add my invoice to it, but there wasn't a spot to do that. So I did that, and then I got a case number with it. And I said, okay. So I got the drone ready. I was going to take it back. I dropped it off. Now, I wanted to find out, how long this process was going to take. So I tried to get on to DJI support on their chat again today. Their chat was shut down. I couldn't get on via their chat. I tried like 3 or 4 times to do that. So I called them up, and because I had several issues that I wanted to talk about with the representative today. All right. And because they told me yesterday, they went through, and now when I was on the phone with them, he walked me through everything. He said, okay, did you do an IMU calibration? Yes. Did you do a gimbal calibration? Yes. Did you do a compass calibration? Yes. What firmware is it on? Can you send me a screenshot? So I took a screenshot, sent him that clip on that. All right. I'm dotting all my I's, crossing all my T's. I said, this is absolute. I said, I can send you a video clip if you want. And he said, well, it ends up, I wanted to send a video clip when I filed for the replacement. However, they only allow 100 megabytes. And I'm like, guys, I can't even put in 3 seconds of video with that. All right. So what I did was I sent them a link to my YouTube video.
Yeah, there you go.
And I told them where they could see it in the YouTube video, because it's very obvious that came up at that point in time. So today, when I was on the phone with the representative and trying to explain things to her, she said, because I was asking, what kind of a time frame am I looking at? And she said, did you drop it off? I said, yes, I dropped it off at UPS this morning. And it goes to Dallas, all right, or Fort Worth. And I'm like, okay. She said, we'll probably get there probably later in the week. And she said, you're probably looking at 9 to 10 days. And I said, okay. I said, I thought I was supposed to get a replacement sent out. Well, no, we look at it and we make a determination if it's going to be repaired or not. And I said, you know what? That's not what the representative told me yesterday. The representative yesterday told me that it's just straight up going to be replaced. And she goes, okay, well, we'll look at it and you'll find out how long it will take. She said, probably about 9 to 10 days. I said, okay, that's fine. I said, my next question is this, and this is where she got really confused. I said, I purchased DJI Care Refresh with that. And she says, well, you're going to lose one of your, send-ins. And I said, wait a minute. Okay. Understand something. This is within a 15-day time window that you guys have. So it doesn't fall under Care Refresh.
Well, plus it's warranty.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly
what about your 1 year warranty on things like this?
Yeah. So what I told her was, I'm like, okay,
whatever.
Yeah, because my concern was, okay, they send me out a replacement. How is that going to be bound to my to the agreement? I said, I want to make sure that that's going to be bound to my Care Refresh agreement. And she said, that won't be a problem. I said, okay. I said, are you sure? And she said, yeah. And I'm like, okay. All right. So, that's where that part ended up. So, all in all, I was left today. I'm like, kind of like scratching my head about all this. I'm like, did I make a mistake getting an Air 3S? I mean, well, let me back up here. All right. This is the first time I've had this experience. All right. Because every other drone that I've gotten, and you guys know how many I've had since, the last 8 years here. This is the first time out of the box that I've had this kind of an experience with it, because everything else.
You're kind of due for 11, and you buy enough of any product, you're going to get 11 eventually.
Yeah, exactly, Ron. And, and that's what I told Valerie. I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty fortunate that this is the first time that this has happened. Okay.
There's a bigger story here. There's a much bigger story here. You can't buy the Neo anymore on Amazon. I haven't checked on Best Buy lately, but I'm willing to bet they're probably out too. You can't get the combo that we bought. Yesterday on Drone Nation, Original Dobo told us they've got a pallet full of enterprise drones that they cannot get through customs. Said you cannot get a new enterprise drone from DJI now. They're just not letting them through. the experience we've seen with the A3S. You can't buy it on Amazon. You can't buy it from Best Buy. You can't get it from Adorama. You got to get it direct from DJI. They are really turning the screws to DJI. It's a slow death, I think, is what's going on here. They haven't been able to pass their legislation, so they're throwing up as many roadblocks and doing all kinds of workarounds. And I'm worried, guys. I'm worried that that's what we're going to deal with from here on out.
Bill, Bill, the runaround Bill got from DJI supporting the timing, maybe because they don't even know what's going on.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it complicates their situation. They don't want to make you a promise that they can't keep.
Exactly.
Because of things they can't control.
Right.
Exactly. Well, and I got some news for you guys, and I haven't opened it up yet. But I ordered a Neo, okay?
From DJI?
Yeah, and I had to order it from the mothership because Amazon, I looked elsewhere. All of a sudden, from like one afternoon to the other, or from morning to afternoon, I was thinking about doing Best Buy. I'm not available. Amazon, it was like end of November, beginning of December. I'm like, no. I want to get this now. So went ahead and ordered it through the mothership. Now, what's real interesting right now is the only carrier that they are using to ship anything, DHL. All right. Yep. And here's what happened yesterday. This is another part to this story. I mean, I literally got it this afternoon. I was supposed to get it yesterday. All right. And it said shipment on hold, Tampa. And I'm okay. So I called them up and I said, look here, guys, what's going on? What they were telling me, what the first person told me was they didn't have a driver to deliver it to my house. And I'm like, okay. Well, DHL is not like they were in the United States.
Nobody's a big fan of DHL, Bill.
Yeah. And I'm like,
they
okay.
do a pretty good job here, but that's just here. So,
and I said, okay. I said, so when will I can't tell you, sir. And I'm like, okay. So then in the afternoon, I decide, you know what? I'm going to try their online chat. So I got with somebody on their online chat, which was, oh my goodness, it was another exercise in futility because he's telling me, well, it shows it will be on its way when a driver picks it up. I said, when's the driver going to pick it up? We don't know. It's going to be delivered today. Yes. And I said, well, I'm kind of having my doubts because it's like about 5:00 right now. And I'm not, because you guys usually come between like 2 and 4 when they do their deliveries here for DHL. Nothing happened. Okay. I wake up this morning. The status still shows the same. It was going to be delivered yesterday. All right. So I'm like, I get on the horn with them this morning, and I'm like, okay, where's my package? Well, it's still in Tampa, and the driver hasn't picked it up yet. I said, I know that much. Well, it's going to be delivered today. And I said, are you sure? Yeah, it says. I said, no, I'm looking at it right now on my screen. It doesn't say that. Well, lo and behold, about 1:00 this afternoon, I get an email from them saying it's going to be delivered between 1,500 and 1,700, which was, between 2 and 4 o'clock, or 3 and 5 o'clock. I'm like, okay, all right, fine. And it ended up, it did come today. All right. Which, it was here, but it was delayed. And it was just weird why it was delayed. I have no idea why that happened. None.
And you probably never will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, so evidently Kenny placed it here, got a new car. He says, hey, Marcus, love the new car. What'd you get, Kenny?
Maybe you got a Corvette.
Yeah, maybe.
Bill, I cut you off early. You were talking about you saw some moray in your video too.
Yeah, one of the comments that I got on here, and you know what? Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and bring that up because I still have that up on my screen here.
I knew what you meant, Kenny.
Okay. Oh. All right. Yeah. Hello, Bill. Great video but I see moray effect on roofs in general studying in the video. The moray effect is also mentioned in some other YouTube videos from Italy, and the problem could be the fact that DJI does not use an anti-aliasing filter on the Air 3S or low bit rate. My Air 3 does not have stuttering and moray effects at all. I will keep flying it this year or at least longer. There's a problem with the Air 3S model. I hope DJI can solve it. I think I will skip the Air 3S model. He said Air 3. And I think I'll skip the Air 3S for now. Maybe later problems assist can be solved. New model with more real upgrades. The LiDAR sensor is not needed by me. A lot of good flights with the Air 3S. Greetings.
Bill, one of the first things I noticed about the Air 3S, my very first flight out at the Snake River Canyon, sometimes when you're going sideways and you're looking at the wall of that canyon with a lot of drones, I'll get that moire effect. I didn't see it on the Air 3S, so I don't know what to say. This is all anecdotal stuff. I didn't see it on mine, so I don't know. In fact, sometimes I see it on the Mavic 3 Pro, but I did not see it at all on the Air 3S. It was one of the things I was looking for.
Well, Marcus, it's based on conditions. You may have not, that the time you do see it, you may be in the type of lighting, the type of environment and background that could cause it. Other times you're not. It's not something you see 100% of the time or whatever. Well, I guess if you had a real terrible camera. But Bill, the anti-aliasing filter, I can't say that word right.
Aliasing is how I've always pronounced it.
That's something that like Canon and some of the big DSLR makers back, I say 2010, they started taking them off their cameras because they realized it increased the the photo quality. It got better. Now it was a risk of adding a little more aid to the pictures, but it dramatically increased their picture quality, and they outsold their rivals that did do it. So that's something that and this is a high end. I'm talking state-of-the-art cameras at the time, and it's still a practice held today. And if you use a video editor like Final Cut or Adobe's Premiere or what's the other one, DaVinci Resolve, they all have a moire slider in it, so you can reduce that in post process. Now, of course, like iMovie doesn't have it, or Free One maybe doesn't have it, but the good ones have it, so you can take that out. And like you can see it on things like. You were flying over buildings on like rooftop shingles and stuff like that. I mean, you could see that. You could see that if you were filming that with your phone or a GoPro or a $5,000 camera body. So, I mean, I'm not saying yours didn't have a moire problem greater than Marcus and I's drones, but I mean, the test that accurate, you'd have to replicate that over and over again to see if it was a real issue and not just like a one-time type of deal. And where did they get the fact that DJI took the anti-aliasing filter out? I've never seen that written down. Is that on the website? I bet you that's something that can't be proven.
But to your point, Ron, I think the best point of this whole thing is that it's all anecdotal stuff, right? So, like you said, Ron, you're talking about conditions. Somebody's condition is different than somebody else's.
The bigger probably issue, Bill, is, and you didn't bring this up, could it be related to the bit rate, the slower bit rate issue that a lot of people have made a big deal of? We know in the stats, the DJI printed stuff that the bit rate is slower on this than it was in the Air 3. Could that be causing some of these artifacts you've been seeing?
That's possible. And just to answer Corwin, to answer your question, there was an update to the Specta Air and also the Specta Mini, and it removed geofencing. And you can go out to the website, go out to the group. I think I have a link out there for that. If not, email me at billthedronereviewer@gmail.com and I'll drop you that link.
Bill, that's a great point. If you are doing a lot of commercial work, why wouldn't you buy that Specta Air for those kind of purposes? Never having to worry about unlocking a geozone. Yes, it's still your responsibility to make sure you're flying in a legal area and you're submitting your Lance request or whatever you need to fly in that area, but it's not the drone that's stopping you from getting your work done.
And I'll tell you guys this, it's a lot easier to get LANC approval to fly in restricted airspace than it is to get a geozone unlocked.
Right.
And Original Dobo was on our show last night, and he said that he uses the Specta Air a lot because of the no geo zones. He can fly places that it's hard to get unlocked. You could easily get approval in those places, but it's hard to unlock the geo zones. So he's using the Specta Air for the same reasons.
Well, for me, in my instance here, I look at it like I still really have the Air 3. Okay, it's just called the Specta Air. All right.
Right.
you know,
Right.
which, you know, if for all intents and purposes, it really is. And I feel very fortunate that Specta sent that to me. Okay. And I'm going to be getting a video out. I had I'd shot 3 videos. I planned on getting that out there and all that. Oh, this was funny. This was a funny one. My second video, I was doing a speed test. All right. Now, what I was planning on doing was I was planning on getting it to go down what I called 19th Avenue. And where you saw in the video clip that I showed you where we saw the stuttering, that street that leads into our development is called 19th Avenue. I was going to do my speed test down there. I was heading in the wrong direction. Okay. And and I ended up very quickly. I'm like, oops. Okay. So I had to turn around. So that's why I wasn't going to use that video, but I only got it up to 50.9 miles per hour. I could not get it any faster than that. It's as fast as it went.
Hey, Bill, Richard made a comment about 5 or 6 comments back concerning the shutter issue. And I want to ask you, Richard says, while my A3S had stutter on the SD and internal memory, the FPV signal to the controller screen was very smooth. So he didn't see it in real time. He only saw it when he checked the memory card. Is that your same situation, Bill?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It was smooth as silk. I had no issues whatsoever with that. It was like absolutely perfect. Like, you know, like 4K, almost like watching it like when I unload my SD card onto the computer.
So that could maybe lead to being a bit rate issue. Then, if you don't see it in real time, you only see it on a recorded video. And now, Bill, the DJI Action 5 recently got a firmware update where they added a higher bit rate. Do you think the A3S could also get the same type of firmware update where it could add a high bit rate toggle to it?
Now I'm going to throw, and I just thought about this. Okay. Now, this was the first time I've ever used internal memory on a drone. All right. I didn't record this to an SD card. All right. And I'm just going to throw this out here. You know, is that going to cause any kind of issues with this? I don't know. I'm just kind of like throwing this out there.
Well, so the kind of stuttering that you're talking about can be caused by a memory card that is too slow, right? So that CPU is having to, or graphic interface is having to write to that card, and if it can't write to it fast enough, that's when you'll get a skip like that. So, Bill, I would suggest, since you saw it on the internal memory, which I'm quite sure that DJI tunes to work perfectly, it's probably a specific problem with your drone, something with the processor, or, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. And Richard did test the internal memory and the SD card, and he used several different recommended SD cards, and he saw the same issue on both.
Well, okay, that's good. That's good. I'm glad to find that out. You know, one of the things that I want to do when I get it back is I'm going to go out and before I even do a real test, I'm just going to take it off from my driveway. I'm not going to film anything. I'm just going to shoot the video, because what I want to do is I want to get that as soon as it's done. I want to get it in the house and do it. Now, what I did was for file transfer, I got my cable, I hooked it directly to the drone, and then I hooked it up to my laptop.
Good man.
That way. I didn't do the file. I didn't do it via phone or anything like that, because I didn't want that to go wonky at all. And I did, and I'm going to do the same thing with that. That's what I'm going to do when I get the drone back. Is I'm going to do that test first.
Yeah, Bill, I want to stop you right away. Mark White brings up a great point about four things back. It's two things more back from Mike's comment here. Mark said the difference between H.264 and H.25 can cause the video the stutter. And you and Richard were both probably on a Windows computer, and maybe it was the issue of 265 on a Windows computer.
What I got. Wrong.
Yeah, but you don't have an issue when you're using a 265 on a Windows computer.
I don't have a problem with it.
Lauren, I did not, and I didn't know that you had to. See what Lauren
I saw the option to format the internal video.
I didn't do that, so I'm not sure. That's a good. Thank you for bringing that up, Lauren. But I see, and this is what this is where I'm going to say, if I didn't, okay, normally, like with an SD card, if you format it, it's not going to let you write out to that. All right, it's gonna reject that. When you start to record, it's going to say SD card formatting error, whatever. It won't let you do that. And I would assume it would have done that that would have been the same case here. I'm just spitballing here. I mean,
I would just guess the internal would be formatted from the factory, but like Laura said, it never hurts to do it again.
Always
it never hurts. But I'm guessing said that was formatted from the factory. And Bill, it is possible. I don't recommend it, but I've actually put an SD card in a drone, forgot to format it, and it did work. I mean, I don't recommend that, but I have seen it work without formatting.
Jerry makes a good point, and I agree with him. I think the 3S is only an H.264.
Yeah, it is. You don't have the option for 264. Yeah. And I know a lot of Windows users have complained that they don't H.265 doesn't work well on their computers. And Marcus, maybe you have a beefier computer than the people that are saying they have problems. Richard says,
about 4 years old, so
yeah, Richard says I use H.265 on my Air 3, no issues with the computer.
Ray says 2-1 now. What does that mean?
The Dodgers over the Yankees.
Yeah, this is a big game tonight. The Yankees are at a must-win tonight.
Yeah, they're down 3-0, so that's going to be real.
Bill, not too many teams come back down 3-0.
Well, nobody has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in a World Series like that to start the World Series. Nobody's
Boston ever did it in a championship series against the Yankees, though, right?
Right, that was in a championship, not in a World Series. So, yeah. So
I also agree with Dre right there. That is absolutely true. Your editor probably makes a bigger difference than any of it. How it's rendering that video. Yeah.
Well, what editing software did you use to create that video?
I used DaVinci Resolve, and I've been using it for years.
Yeah, so I mean,
it's been working like a champ.
Right,
I had zero issues with it.
Resolve's not going to have an issue.
So I don't. At this point, I'm just waiting to get that confirmation the DJI has it, and I'm going to cross my fingers and my toes and hope for luck in getting that back in 9 to 11 days. I don't know with these delays.
This is unofficial. It may just be luck of the draw that I'm talking to people, but it seems like there's more lemons on the Air 3S on the initial shipment than what we usually see.
Well, I'm hearkening back, and the one thing that I remember, a lot of people when the Mavic 3 came out and the GPS issues that we had. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm like,
true.
I took mine right away. As long as I had a clear view of the sky, boom, boom, boom. It took a minute, but it got 21 satellites, and I was good to go. Because I know a lot of people were having issues until they did a firmware update, and that took care of that. I remember that.
But we had to wait a while. I mean, they did a big firmware. I know when I was at the South Florida drone meetup, and it fixed a lot of the issues,
right.
But it really didn't get fixed 100% until almost the end of May, where at that point it acted like every other drone. You just started up.
Yeah. I remember that.
Later, it was 20 satellites, and you were taking off.
I remember that. So
hey, Bill,
my Neo took a long time to get satellites in the backyard today.
I had my first DJI flyaway, Bill.
Yes.
Drone just flew away. Not kidding. No joke.
Really?
The little Neo. I took off, and man, it was exit stage left. And I mean, it took off like a shot.
There you go.
So when you do your first Neo flight, don't do it near the water.
Yeah. What I did, Bill, I was fortunate because I was out at the park and it was over grass. And I just held that left stick down, and finally it came down long enough, and it tumbled through the grass and so forth. But I mean, it took off and then just exit stage left.
Mark, what would have happened if you'd been over the Snake River Canyon?
Oh yeah, it wouldn't be good. It wouldn't have been good. Yeah, wouldn't have been good. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it flew fine after that. I took off again.
Hey, Marcus, Ken's asking, how did you get it to land and get it back?
Well, I just held that left stick down, and it hit the grass, and of course
it took a command.
Yeah, it took. Well, yeah. So could I have been able to bank to the right? I'm not sure. I don't know. It happened so fast. I was just holding that stick down to try and get it to land, and eventually it did. And the fortunate thing was I was in that park and I was over grass, and it didn't hurt anything.
Did you see Mike Wright? His drone went on a road trip there. It was delayed in Dallas for 2 days, which is where Mike is at. Then it passed through Custom Atlanta. Then it went to Houston. Then it came back to Dallas again.
Well, that's what happened to me. Mine came to Los Angeles to Cincinnati, Cincinnati to Denver, Denver to Salt Lake to Boise.
No, Mark, did you get all those flight miles on your reward?
I should on my rewards card. Yeah.
So there we go. Bill. I can answer why Cincinnati. They really like to fly those drones around, huh?
There's a big DHL hub in Cincinnati. I think it's one of their largest hubs in the United States.
Okay.
That's probably why it went through Cincinnati.
Hey, I saw it hit LA and I thought, well, man, this is going to be here fast.
Yeah, it was just on the beginning of his road trip.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm just, I got no words for all this. All right. I'm just, it's a real, it's a conglomeration here. Okay. It's like a perfect storm right now of things.
Hey, can I answer Barkley's question there about long way down into the canyon? Barkley, it's okay. Lauren Donauer was with me. He would have scrambled right down the side of that canyon and he'd have grabbed it.
Or if you couldn't find it, he could get some of his big glass out and just zoom in on it.
He could have zoomed right in on it.
Yeah. So, Bill, I wish the best of luck, but I have faith that DJI is going to take care of you in the long run. They're going to get you a working drone and it doesn't stutter and whatever. And the Moray thing, I don't think you're going to see that in all situations. I haven't really edited. I haven't sat down and really edited video from the Air 3S, but I'm going to go. After the show, I'm going to get some video I shot last Friday and see if I can find of it. And here's a good tip I haven't told anybody yet, guys. Are you ready for the tip of the day? The Bill of Drone Reviewer tip of the day. When you look at your video on your RC2 screen after the flight's done, or you're on your phone if you're using a fly app on your phone, and you're going through your video files, before you never knew what video file was what. When I test, I shoot some in regular video, I shoot some in D-Log-M. It has a little symbol. It tells me what video I shot in D-Log-M now, right on when you review the files on the fly app when you're done your flights. I really like that they identify the files so you don't have to guess, because the only other way is to take them into your editor.
Yeah.
And that's real time consuming. So that's a real good tip of the day.
I like it.
Well, for me, I'm like, okay, all right. We're just gonna work through this here and get this addressed, get it taken care of. I know Lon put something about I think should have waited for update next week, but I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna have
that's your high bit rate coming next week, Bill.
Yeah. So at this point, now one of the things that I am gonna do besides doing all the calibrations, I'm going to format both the internal storage, and I'm also going to format an SD card. And what I'm going to do with the first flight, I'm going to use both. All right. I'm going to take 2 flights. I'm going to do one with the internal storage. Then I'm going to do one with an SD card.
Were you shooting 4K? Were you shooting 4K 30 video, Bill?
Yes, I was doing 4K 30.
Because maybe if you see it again, downgrade the video like 1080p or whatever. See if you still have it at a video that's not his as intensive on the card to read. Right. Yeah, that's a good. You troubleshoot what's the cause.
Exactly. So, well, one of the other things that I noticed when I was doing my unboxing, and people saw it on there, was I had some trouble getting the gimbal cover off. Okay. And I noticed that, and I don't know if this is part of this situation or not, but there's that foam rubber piece that's around
the gimbal
itself. All right. and it's getting that cover off. It's really tight. It's on there really tight.
Bill, everybody had that issue. Mine was real tight too until I got that foam out of there. So it's not you. It's not your drone. I just say
Right.
exact experience.
But what I'm saying was, well, I'm like, okay, I'm not putting that foam back on there, sending it back to DJI. So I put everything back the way it was, but I didn't put the foam back there. Okay, I'm spitballing here because I don't know what caused this.
I threw that piece of foam out.
Yeah. I didn't worry about that. So.
I like it because it helps hold that gimbal straight. One more thing, a little bit off subject here. We want Barkley just reminded me we want to make sure that we wish Gary Bauer a happy birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday, Gary!
Happy birthday! All right,
Jerry. Yeah,
He
Jerry.
does it with a G, so I always say Gary, but it's not. It's Jerry. I'm sorry.
There in Canada.
Yeah.
Who reminded us in the chat, Bill, that he bought his A3S the day it came out at Best Buy in Canada. So Best Buy in the US doesn't have it, but Best Buy in Canada does carry the drone, Bill.
Yep.
So it's not Best Buy in particular, it's only the US.
Yes. And also just to let everybody know, and you probably saw I did a video short on it. It does not fit. The Air 3S does not fit in the Lycus case that I had for the Air 3. So you got to wait.
Yeah. And now Johnny Drone Flyer confirmed that the 3S fits in the 3 case from the Starter RC, the hard shell case.
Okay. Because it did. Now, my guy from Lycus is going to be sending me a Neo case as well to review as well. So I'm going to be set for case. I tell you what, and seriously, and I know it's still kind of on topic here. Lycus makes a great case, and it's almost all of them are under $100, which I really like because a lot of the other cases are over $100 and stuff, and I'm like, no. And I saw it, and then I got in touch with them, and then they asked me, would you like us to send you one to review? And I'm like, absolutely. So
Ron's got a case supplier too.
I've got 2. I don't have them handy here, but I got 2 cases for the Neo from Starter. They haven't sent me a Air 3S case, but you know what? I could wait in that one because I like the shoulder bag they said, and like Marcus always says, it's the kind of case where you can just look down and see everything you have and pull it out. You don't have to fish in there for anything. You just see what you want and you pull it out.
Mm-hmm.
I like that case too, Ron. I have one problem with it, and that's that there's no place for a charger. And
you mentioned that before. Yep. No space for a charger.
I like carrying a whole kit. I like being able to grab that kit if I'm going someplace and know that everything I need is in there.
So when you're going through a drone meetup like the Las Vegas drone meetup, you don't want to grab this case and you get out there and you don't have your charger with you.
You forgot your charger. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. So guys, any closing thoughts here?
Bill, just that, I wish you the best of luck on that Air 3S issue. I'm sorry, you had sort of your bubble burst here. You got that drone, you're looking forward to it, and now you're on a holding pattern again. But again, everybody gets a lemon now and then. Who knows? Maybe if you had kept it, maybe it had got fixed by the next firmware update, but you don't know. So you were wise to use your 15-day return period to get that back and get another one. So I kind of agree what you did rather than wait and take a chance that a firmware update will fix it. So and we're waiting. We're probably next week, Bill, probably when we do the show next week, the Goggles N3, the $299 or under goggles that are kind of made for the Neo, they should be available to the public now. Whether you can get them shipped to the US is another question. But they should be out someplace in the world. So we have something to look forward to. And also rumors, Bill, that same day they released the O4 Air units for the FPV build-it-yourself pilots too. So, it never stops here with DJI with it's like a never-ending, 200 days of Christmas or something with the way them releasing.
Yeah, pretty much. Go ahead, Marcus.
Well, I'm looking forward to, actually, a week from today, I'm going to be flying to Las Vegas in anticipation of the Las Vegas drone meetup. I'm looking forward to flying my drone with my friend Barkley. I think Barkley's going to be there. I'm looking forward to flying with my friend Lon. I think Lon is going to be there. I'm looking forward to flying with my friend Tom Dempsey. I think he's going to be there. I'm looking forward to flying with my friend Tom Dowling. I know he's going to be there as well. So, yeah, should be fun.
That's great.
Should
That's
be.
absolutely great. So
Yeah.
we'll look
I'm
forward
sure
to
Bob will put on a good event for you folks.
It's going to be a riot, I think.
we'll look forward to getting, to hearing about how it went and seeing you.
Oh, Bill Grace. I forgot. Bill Grace is going to be there. Looking
Well,
forward to
Grace is going to have a big birthday bumper out there, right?
Oh, that's great. That's great. You'll be able to meet Bill. That'll be nice. Just a programming note, next Tuesday's election night. We're going to be on at 7 p.m. Eastern, not 8 p.m. Eastern, to allow people to watch election returns at 8 o'clock. So I wanted to make a programming note for everybody.
Will we be calling the election next Tuesday, Bill?
Who knows? God only knows. God only knows. That's who knows. Who knows?
You know how like the big news, everybody has to call the election.
Well, the one thing that I will like is, okay, we went to the mailbox. We have a mailbox. We have a kiosk for our mailbox. We got up there. Three-fourths of our mail were vote for me, vote for this issue, don't vote for this issue. We're looking at it and in the garbage. Okay, it's like
the good thing by next Tuesday, I won't have to get that mail. I won't have to watch a whole bunch of election commercials.
Well, the other thing is, I'm getting all these texts, okay, because if you sign up or this or that, it's just like your number is given out like a multitude. Yeah. In fact, Valerie and I are going in tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow after we're done here at home, we're going to drive down and drop our ballots off just to get that.
We did absentee. That way we can sit down at the kitchen table, fill it out at our leisure. And if there's here's the ones that confuse me are all these judges. You have a lot of judges that end up on the ballot. Man, I don't know if I want to vote for them or not. I have no idea. I don't know what they, so you could do a little bit of research, and I mean, the thing about voting for a judge is, heck, whether there doesn't even matter what their political affiliation is. Without really knowing lawyers that deal with them, you don't know if they're good or not, right? So
exactly, you have no clue. That's why I go by. There's a couple of voters' guides here locally that I go by for issues like that, and also for we have several amendments that are going to be up for the state for Florida. There's some guides.
Word is so weird sometimes, and that's what you're sitting in that. Going in to vote and you're going through it and you're trying to interpret what they're trying to say there. Hey, if you're at home, you can take your time and figure that stuff out.
At the voting booth, you get tricked into voting the way you don't want to on those questions.
Yeah. You know what I would always do when I still went to a voting booth is I'd bring a cheat sheet with me because I would have everything on there and I knew, Smart. That was the only way to do it because like you said, Marcus, going in there, it's like, you know what, I don't want to go there. I know for the major election, major stuff I vote for. Right. But other than that, it's like, boggles your mind. Like, So
I voted by mail over 10 days ago, and Susan did early voting at the booth at the polls today. So we're all voted.
Yeah, Sarah and I are going to sit down tonight at the kitchen table and just go over it and take our time.
And be done. That's what we did. Valerie and I did that. It's all ready to go, signed. We're just going to drop them off and then, get. And what they do is you physically watch them. They have a scanner. They scan it and then they put it in the box for you. That's
Bill, I wish the DJI drone thing was an initiative on the ballot. I wish there was a checkbox there. Yeah. Should DJI drones be banned or not or whatever? Checkbox.
Exactly. That would. Yeah.
Well, okay. I don't want to go too far backwards, but God, it's like the death of 1,000 cuts with DJI. They just keep hammering away at one thing or another. It's just
hopefully, what's her name, Loretta Lynch, the former Attorney General, can hammer right back.
Well, I hope so. Well, I mean, the thing is, how do we? That's another thing that we don't even really know all the facts, right? I mean, it's weird.
Once they get to court, they'll have to read them.
That's right. That's true. Yeah.
But remember, when they get in front of the judge, he's not going to want to hear stuff. We know stuff we can't tell you. He doesn't want to hear that.
Yeah.
You better present that evidence.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everyone, have a great rest of your week. Enjoy your Air 3Ss. I'll keep you up to date with what's going on. As always, it's a great day to fly. Take care, everybody.
Get out there.